I am Ray, and most people believe they have to control their bad thoughts, and that's exactly what keeps them stuck. Newsflash, you can't do it. You just cannot, but you can outsmart them. You can finally be free from your negative thoughts, but you have to stop making the mistakes that are keeping you enslaved. The problem is, negative thoughts can make you feel mentally exhausted, making you feel powerless and even hopeless. Where is my hope, you may ask? I don't know. But if you want to finally feel relief and to be able to enjoy your life without being stuck in a mental prison, keep watching, because that's what I'm going to show you how to do. And that's what I teach people in Monster Mind Mastery, program down below. Now you see, the more you try to control, the worse everything becomes. Your life, your thoughts, everything. Why is this? Because the only reason we control is because of the ego. It's where control comes from. And the ego is a very limited state of consciousness. The universe is big, ego small. So basically what happens is that you, as the ego, tries to take the burdens of the world upon your shoulders. And it doesn't work. Eventually, you get beaten down and are forced to surrender. Same thing with fighting your thoughts. If you try to manage and control your thoughts and fight them and battle with them, eventually they're going to just destroy you. I mean, what are you going to do? Beat your thoughts into submission? Where are they going to go? Back to the void? It does not make any sense to try to control or fight with your thoughts. It doesn't do anything. You see, there's something I call the monster mind. And essentially, it's the parasitic ego. Once the ego identity has become toxic, it becomes like this parasitic beast that begins feeding off your energy. And guess what? You know, we have an ego and we have all of these little sub-personalities. And they're all living things. The ego doesn't want to die. So it will literally hijack your attention, hijack your whole system without you ever even realizing it. And cause you to focus on certain things, get you triggered so it can steal your juices. Every time you get triggered, it's the ego. And this reveals an underlying attachment to a certain belief, story, identity. And so long as we are in the grip of our attachments, we will be slaves. You see, energy is the force of creation, it's the force of life, and our mind is a tool that directs the flow of energy. So where attention goes, energy flows. So, what does the monster mind do? The monster mind uses our attachments, our traumas, our beliefs, and hijacks our attention by triggering us so that we feed our energy to it. It gets stronger, we get weaker. That is why sometimes we feel like in a slave-tyrant relationship with our minds. Have you ever felt this way? Where you just don't know what to do? Your thoughts are overwhelming? You're stuck in your mind? And it's because, well, we don't know how to deal with our mind. And the monster mind knows how to deal with us. It knows all of our weaknesses, all of our traumas. It's like a sleazy salesman. It knows all the buttons to push to get you to buy the lies that it is selling. And this is the secret. This is how you outsmart your negative thoughts. You outsmart the monster mind. You take your wallet, right? You take your wallet with all your cash and you leave it at home. You are not open for business. This transaction is not going down. The only reason that you are affected by your thoughts at all is because when you have a negative thought, you entertain it. You think, this could be true. I better ruminate on this for 8 hours. And the monster mind is like, yes, all you can eat buffet. Feeding off your panic attacks, and your worry, and your fears, and your shame, and your guilt. But thoughts are just thoughts. We give them meaning. And when you stop giving meaning to your thoughts, they stop having any power over you. Who would have thought? It's as Eckhart Tolle once said, the primary cause of our unhappiness, my friend, it's not what happens to us. It's our thoughts about what happens to us. Meaning, a negative thought is only negative because we judge it and label it as negative. And it is that judgment. Oh, the swords almost fell. Almost destroyed my whole life. It's because we judge and label our thoughts as negative that we resist them. And what we resist persists. So as we resist our negative thoughts, they get worse. Because we're feeding them our life force. Through the tension. Oh, I really don't want these thoughts right now. I really don't like this. Or you're judging your current experiences. Life isn't going the way you want. So you say, Oh man, I hate this. I hate my life. I hate everybody. Everybody sucks but me. Even I suck too, a little bit. It's all just a psychological drama. You can stop entertaining the psychological drama, and it stops being bad. And you'll see it. Just become aware next time you feel like crap. More often than not. Unless you're deficient or unless you've been starving for the past few days. Bad, negative feelings arise because of our thoughts. And then guess what? We judge the feelings as bad and wrong, and then they make our thoughts worse, and then they make our feelings worse. I'm just using negative feelings. I'm calling them negative because, well, most people, if you feel depressed, you're going to say, oh, well, that's a negative feeling. I don't like this. The Buddha once told the parable of the two arrows. The first arrow we get hit with is the arrow of being in a body. Ouch. But the second arrow we inflict upon ourselves through the reaction to the first arrow. That is where all the trouble lies. And guess what? This is great news. Because you can't always control what happens to you. But as Viktor Frankl once said, the last of the human freedoms is for one to choose their attitude toward their given circumstances. And he was in Auschwitz, getting beat up every day, starved. So if he can do it, you can too. I believe in you. Wise Duck believes in you as well. I don't know about that. I tried. So what do? When the monster mind offers you a thought, a nice juicy thought, a negative one, most likely, what do? You say, I'm not open for business, monster mind. Go away. Why are you trying to steal my purse? What is going on here, monster mind? Am I going to have to call the police? The monster mind is bound by universal law that it cannot infringe upon your free will. Meaning, nothing in this world has any power over you whatsoever. Let's just get that straight. You may think it, but that's just prison of your mind. It doesn't exist. It's fake. It's believed in. Thoughts. In other words, society has no power over you. The government has no power over you. Your thoughts have no power over you. The aliens have no power over you. The demons have no power over you. You have all the power. As Muji said, you give your power away to your thoughts through your identification and belief in the thoughts. And that's how this all works. For instance, right, if you have a strong attachment to your identity as a religious person, as many do, the monster mind can manipulate you into doing something that is against your religion. And guess what's going to happen? Afterwards, you're going to feel regret and guilt and shame because you have betrayed yourself, betrayed the person you believe yourself to be. And the monster mind is having a field day. It's manipulated you into engaging in some self-destructive behavior. Then it's manipulating you into feeding the negative thoughts about it. Downward spiral, shame and guilt and worry and fear. And that is how people get destroyed in life. It's the only reason. This is the source of all the world's problems, right here. You see it? Can you see? What other thing causes people to get their lives ruined? Answer me this. It all begins with a single thought. You cannot hold a thought in your mind for so long without acting on it. Because your thoughts will create emotional states, your emotions will influence you to act, and when you act, you will have to face the consequences. That is, if you're still bound by the laws of karma, which, well, everybody is. Think about a serial killer, for instance. How do they become a murderer? They weren't like that from the beginning. They weren't born a baby serial killer. It began with one thought at a time. The thoughts influence you to feel a certain way, then act a certain way. Then your actions create more feeling states, more thoughts. And it's just a downward spiral. You wake up one day in hell. How did I get here? It's called one step at a time. Energy is creation. We create our reality by what we focus our attention on. So guess what? If you're always focusing on negative thoughts, you're going to create hell for yourself. If you're focusing on all the negativity in your life and in the world, same thing. That is why Mr. Milton said, people can make a hell out of heaven and a heaven out of hell. If you got 99 things going wrong in your life, you can focus on the one thing going well and pull yourself up out of any situation. But if you have 99 things going right and you focus on the one thing going wrong, you can pull the whole thing down and ruin your life. The monster mind is a universal force, an antagonist, the bad guy. But of course, well, you need a bad guy for a story to make sense. So the monster mind is not necessarily bad as we think it as bad. It's just bad from our little human perspective. Without the force of resistance, life wouldn't be interesting. And that's the whole crazy thing of it. Evil is just an illusion. We believe evil into existence. You might ask why people do such evil things. It's because they believed a thought. That's all. That is all. They just believe their negative thoughts, eventually leading to worse and more negative thoughts. Maybe they even resist them, fight them. They grow stronger. They take over. Monster mind possesses them. They're done. They're a force of... They become a vessel for destruction and death. Because energy is life. And when your life is constantly being drained of you, from you, where life is not, death is. Like when you turn the lights off to a room, darkness is what remains. That's the whole game of the monster mind. It's just trying to steal your energy to survive. Think about a reptile. A reptile spends its whole existence just eating other things. That's all it does. It just eats other things. And guess what? What do the prey animals do? They spend their whole life getting eaten. Or I guess only, once, but they eat and get eaten. The lizards don't get eaten. Well, maybe by birds, other predators. The fact is, the point, that the monster mind is like a reptile. All the demonic have to feed off others' energy, like a reptile. So, don't be upset about it. It's just trying to survive, man. Times are hard. Humans weren't made like they're used to. Now they're full of GMOs and white bread. The monster mind is like a mosquito, trying to suck on your toxic blood. But guess what? The moment you realize that you have all the power, and that you have to give away your consent to the forces of darkness for them to have any influence over you whatsoever, you take your power back, and the monster mind can't do nothing. You outsmart the monster mind. You outsmart your negative thoughts. Because the moment you realize that you don't have to believe them, that is just false evidence appearing real. That is what fear is. Well, then what are they going to do? They're going to work their way in some other way? If you don't allow it in, they can't get in. We open the door, the monster mind knocks, or negative thoughts. Hey, let me in. It's cold out here. And you say, oh, okay, let me open the door. And you get tackled, thrown in the basement, chained up. Stop opening the door. Put some locks on it, for Christ's sake. Stand up for yourself and say no. No, I'm not going to let you in. Is something possessing your hand to open the door? Nothing. There's nothing. You just didn't realize that you had the power. Only through our belief in our negative thoughts do they affect us at all. Even if you engage in some self-sabotage, some self-destructive behavior and addiction, you still have the choice to ruminate on the shame and guilt afterwards. You judge yourself. Life is not judging you. Life is just reflecting back to you the way you judge yourself. Back to the karma thing. If you do something bad, right, you will make the karma 10 times worse by continuing to fuel that fire of negativity. Feeding it with shame and guilt and fear and negative thoughts. It will make a worse impact on your life. But even if you do something bad and just stop reacting to it, stop judging yourself, well, then the consequences of those actions aren't going to be as severe. Now, it's not like you can get away with some terrible things and pretend that it's all good, especially when it comes to other people. But the less you ruminate on something, the less you feel bad about it, the less impact it's going to have on your life. That is why, for instance, bad things happen to good people, the good die young, and the evil people seem to get away with it all. Because when a good person does something bad, and they have some bad thoughts, oh, I'm no good, I feel shame and guilt, I should be better. Well, guess what? That creates a toxic environment in your body and in your mind. Worrying all the time. Being afraid. Good people, on average, worry more than bad people. Because good people care. That's the whole thing. They have good hearts. So they care. They're invested in the well-being of themselves and of others. But a psychopath, they don't care. They can do whatever. They don't feel bad about it. Doesn't mean they get away with it. It just means that they don't allow in worry and toxic emotions until they finally crumble. In other words, we have to understand that life in a lot of ways is just neutral. It's mathematical. It's just reflecting back to us our own self. And it doesn't matter if you're a good or a bad person. The rock falling off the cliff is going to crush you regardless. Meaning, if you allow the fear in, doesn't matter if you're a good person or a bad person, it will negatively affect you. And if you don't allow the fear in, if you don't ruminate on negative thoughts, doesn't matter if you're a good or a bad person, it's not going to affect you. So moving forward, remember, fear is false evidence appearing real. The monster mind is like a vampire. You have to invite it in order for it to enter into your home, the home of your mind. And the moment you revoke your consent, it is done. Nothing it can be done. Nothing it can do. And what this means practically is that when you start having negative thoughts, you just kind of look at them. You observe them as they arise. And you just see that they're just thoughts, nothing more than clouds passing through the sky. And that we have a choice not to label them, or judge them, or resist them. Now, of course, we've gotten into the bad habit of labeling them and resisting them. So it takes a bit of time to kind of recenter yourself, to take your power back. The more you stop reacting to your negative thoughts, the less power they have over you, the more you take your power back until eventually, your negative thoughts are like flies buzzing around you. They have no power. Maybe annoying every once in a while. But you just shoo them away. Get out of here, monster mind. You smell. One day at a time, one step at a time, one thought at a time. And you can even invite your negative thoughts. Say, come here, negative thoughts. Come on, show me what you got. Because every time you don't react to your negative thoughts, or when you change your reaction to them, you are taking your power back. So you actually want your negative thoughts to come moving forward. Because you're reprogramming your brain to not react to negative thoughts as a threat. Because the moment you act as something is a threat, you get sent into fight or flight. Now you're anxious, full-blown panic attack, ruminating, because it's a survival response. Your body is forcing you to enter into this survival response. Which is why, again, we often feel like we have no control. And what reacting differently to our negative thoughts does, it tells our body, hey look, there's no threat here. It's all good. Relax, for Christ's sake. And your body begins to chill out. Because right now, whenever we have negative thoughts and react negatively to them, the body feels like, there's a grizzly bear. We have to freak out. We have to freak out right now. And so you do. But when the negative thoughts come and you react differently or don't react at all, your body calms down and says, okay, false alarm. Just breathe, relax, go get a massage, chill out, slow down, go and do some meditation. Observe your thoughts like clouds. The more you can relax, the less you'll freak out, the more peace you'll experience. And step by step, day by day, you will take your power back. The monster mind will lose all control over your life. But only if you end the inner war. Stop fighting. What you resist persists. And when you finally had enough, check out Monster Mind Mastery. I created a 90-day step-by-step system just for you. For those who are struggling with their negative thoughts, overthinking, rumination, excessive worry and fear. Don't waste years wandering aimlessly like I did. You only got to become free once. I am Ray. Much peace and many blessings. And remember, just be.